Ladies and gentlemen, Khalid joins Bennett from Most Requested Live Worldwide with Romeo.
It's been a minute, man. How are you?
I'm great. Great. Can't complain. Yeah,
I just feel so much better after talking to you. You have that effect on people, you know?
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Congrats on the Sincere album, man. I've just been playing it nonstop. I mean,
Hey, I love that.
it's the closest thing you're going to get to a therapy appointment. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's deep. It'll take you there. It really will.
Just
But that's awesome to hear.
It's just a special album. I feel like there's no skips. I can just listen to this all the way through, and it's like an experience.
Yeah, it just coast through.
Take me through this album because, you know, I know how important this album is to you, how personal and vulnerable, and the way you describe it, it's like you're going back to square one almost. Describe this process and kind of like where your head was at.
Yeah, I feel like one thing that I really value a lot about my earlier music is the emotional impact that it had on people, where although I was a teenager, people of all ages were empathizing with me and they all felt connected. And it's something about that core of vulnerability that gets a little cloudy when you're doing things that you normally wouldn't have done and you're traveling to all these different places. You have all this pressure on your shoulders. For me with this album, like this album has to feel the most no pressure or the least amount of pressure that I felt creatively, because I had to refine that joy. I had to find joy. I had to have fun. And melancholy is where my voice lends itself. So it's something that I leaned right in. I'm like, all right, if we're going to get deep, we're going to get deep. And I've talked to so many fans over the years and heard so many stories and heard so many impressions of what my music left on them. So for me, I was like, it's only right. I feel like people are asking for this, so I'm finally ready to do it. And that's how Sincere came to life.
I love that. Did it feel like a job to you before this album? Did it feel like it was work and you weren't creatively there, or is that accurate? Or?
I would say pre-pandemic, it was a lot of work. It was a lot of work. 2019 was a year for me.
Yeah.
Work, you know, I'm getting thrown left and right. And I'm the type of person that I rise up to the occasion. So I'm like, I'm loving all of this work, but there wasn't enough life to live to continue telling stories. And I think that's what I like about being creative, is empathizing with people who understand me, understand how I feel. But I didn't know how I felt. And I took a year of not writing anything. 1 year, didn't write any not one song that year. But when the pandemic happened and I was thrown into this emotional state, like we all were, it really sparked something into me creatively. Like, okay, well, what are you going to use to cope with all of these things going on in the world? And music is my gift. And so I utilized that. I found connected to myself as an artist, as a musician. And up until it's like high school, right? I started off as a freshman finding that love, and I ended on this senior project where I'm like, okay, cool. Like, let's put this out. Let's do it. And for me, I'm the type of person like, what's next now? What's next? Awesome.
That's amazing. Was it like riding a bike, like writing songs again? Like, did it just come out after a year of not writing? Did it just spew out of you almost, or?
I feel like the year that I took not writing was because I started to compare myself melodically to, I would say, a lot of the songs that I was hearing. Maybe it was lack of confidence. I wanted to do different things. Or it was also one of those things where you've lived in a space so long, you're like, okay, it's time to find a new home to live in. I feel like I've lived in this space creatively for a while, and I want to find the next steps. And I give myself grace as an artist. I appreciate every era of myself as an artist. But I feel like through this album, it opened the door to so many possibilities where I'm like, okay, the sky's the limit of where I can go. So just excited about it all.
Yeah, because I mean, like, there's so many different chapters of your life. I mean, you're 26 now. I mean, you were 17 when we first started talking. Like,
Yeah.
what? That's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy how fast time goes by, which makes me want to appreciate the moment that I'm living in even more, where I'm like, I gotta take this moment for what it is and work my hardest while I have some work in me. I got to keep going. I got to keep being creative, and I got to keep having fun. Yeah.
And let's talk about this piece of work that you have out, Sincere, man. This is a very special project. I know I have my personal favorites. Breathe. I love Breathe.
Thank you.
So good. I love
Thank
Adore
you.
You. I love Everything We See. It's All Good. It's All Good is
Yes. Yeah.
those are just a few of my favorites. Is there a song? I know it's probably tough because like they're your children, right? But is there a
Right.
song that you're most proud of that you couldn't wait for your listeners to hear, your fans?
Yeah. I would say Decline.
Yeah,
Yeah, love Decline. I
yeah.
think I had a really big moment with Decline where I recorded the song and I lived with it for a little bit. I knew that it was good immediately, but I went to South Africa and I sat on this balcony. It was crazy, honestly, because I'm like, wow, I'm in South Africa on a balcony. But I'm sitting on this balcony and I'm playing Decline, and something clicked where I'm like, this song. Like I'm just so thankful for writing this song. It struck a chord with me where it just even just shows me what I'm capable of pulling out of myself. Like, oh, I really got this raw. I really got this is this vulnerable. And so I love Decline so much. And Sincere, the title track. I
Sure.
love that so much. I mean, the raw emotion and the way that that's sang, it will be a feeling that I'll never forget. So I love that song a lot too.
Isn't it amazing this far in and you still can surprise yourself when you write a song? Isn't that great?
I always search for that. I'm always trying to step outside the box and push myself as a creative. I'm just trying to get better, just get better over time and have fun while doing it.
I'm curious, what song did you write first for the album? Was it Sincere? Like what song kind of set the tone for the project?
Dose. So I
Okay.
would say Dose was the longest song that stood the testament of time. It lasted every battle, because I will never forget the mood that that song set. It's dark, it's mysterious, and I feel like the album has those moments where it's melancholic, but it's not overwhelmingly dark. It's like darkness with like a little hint of light, and I
Hmm.
think that that song to me is like the center point of the entire album.
Well, I was saying like there's no skips. It's this journey that you take us on, and I'm kind of curious. What are those albums for you that are no skips? That you just put on and you're just vibing for that full hour, or whatever the case is.
One album that I've been listening to on repeat has to be the latest album by Magdalena Bay. I love that album so much. It's so great. It's an incredible album. Also, any album by Empire of the Sun I can just listen to just and coast. Any album. It's one of my biggest inspirations in this industry. So I would say though those two artists in particular, really timeless music that lasts to me.
It's super special when you find those albums because it's such a single driven industry. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So when you find that piece of work where you can just right spend that hour and like you're just in a different planet. You know what I mean?
I
So
love being brought into someone's story. Okay,
yes.
this is what we're doing, and this is what we're experiencing.
And from someone who just has a way with words and telling a story, is there a lyric that comes to mind that made you feel a certain way? I mean, they all made you feel a certain way, but that one that kind of stands out to you
On my project.
on your project, yeah, that like
Yes, yeah.
I can't wait to get this off and out, and you know what I mean?
Tell me what I mean to you. My fingertips are black and blue. I'm holding on to your heart, but it's cold and now I'm frozen. Something about that lyric, I'm like, okay, this is deep. This is raw. This is love.
Hmm.
And that is a lyric. If anyone were to ask me what's a lyric that stands out, that one, I see that one every time I close my eyes, I see that one.
Amazing. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a goodie.
Yeah,
I was hoping you'd say that.
thank you.
Oh man, I'm curious because you were kind of teasing a little something on Instagram, saying that there's more to come this year, and I'm looking at the calendar, and the year is getting it's winding down. Uh, tour, a deluxe album? What are we teasing over here?
I've been working really hard in the studio. So I would just say more work, more creative work that hopefully I can create so much that I have a few that I'm like, let me just sprinkle in the air before the year is done. So I would say working hard enough where I feel pleased enough to let some of the songs that I've been holding for the past few years go.
I
Again,
love this.
yeah,
I love a little Khalid sprinkles
we'll see.
before the end of the year.
We'll see. I'm working really hard. So
How many songs would you say that you wrote all together? I mean, 16 songs made the album.
I would say there's like 50 strong songs that I could honestly be comfortable with coming out into the world that happened
Wow.
over the past 3 to 4 years. Yeah. So tons of music, tons of music. So
That's amazing.
maybe some side projects here or there, or maybe something. I mean, that's the thing about being creative. You get to go where the music takes you. And I'm pretty sure the music one day will be screaming, let me out. So.
And we're ready for it. Bring it on. Come on. I love asking this question. The song you wish you wrote. Is there a song that's come out recently that's given you some inspiration?
A song that I can really appreciate has to be, oh, there's so many. I mean, I love As It Was by Harry Styles. I think that that's an incredible song. I think that that would be so much fun to sing. I love how upbeat it is. I love the energy that it brings. I love that song so much. And it's been one of my favorites over the past few years. So that will probably be one of those songs where I'm like, I wish I would have wrote a hook like that.
It's one of those songs that doesn't get old. Like I've heard that song a million times and it's still like I'm hearing it for the first time.
And I can still listen to it. So good.
Right. Well, you got a couple of those too, man. You got a bunch in the bag for sure.
Thank you.
This album is full of it. It's healing. You've never sounded better, honestly.
Oh, so much.
Just congratulations, and man, I can't wait to hear some sprinkles.
Oh my God, I can't wait for you to hear. I appreciate your words. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's always great catching up. Like I said, I feel like my anxiety has been reduced now that I've talked to you.
I've done my job then. I've done
right?
Yeah.
You're just the best, man. It's so great checking in with you, and congrats, and we'll check in soon, all right?
Thank you so much. Good to see you.
Absolutely. All the best, my friend.
Peace.